Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be sure you're using your core. Other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight. Kick your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift weight, kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet, choose one side and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good Tai Chi posture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Good Tai Chi posture for a good golden cockerel. Remember the modifications that we were taught where we come up to the center and push down to the side. And maybe I should emphasize that it's not so much the hand going down and the hand coming up in this fashion, but it's something to do with this motion. So can we all do this motion? So this is when you're engaging your core. But if you just go like this and go like this, you're merely using your hands, but that's not Tai Chi. So you want to be able to push up, push down, using that central part of your body, okay? All right, try that. Sinking down, firming down, dropping the shoulders, but growing a little taller. Golden cockerel, shift your weight, center, engage your core. One more set. Kicking out, shift weight, center up with the right foot out in line. Last set. Holding our ball on a T stance, root down, flex that knee. Think about how we're going to part the wild horse's mane. Clearly out into the side on the heel. Move that energy, move the ball, part the wild horse's mane. Make sure you get a good stretch. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, root down, ball, L, move the ball, get a good stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot, firm down, T, L, move the ball, get a good stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot, firm down, T, out and to the side, here it is. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher, glance at the higher hand, all together, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist as if it were one motion. Sit back, twist, parallel higher, one motion, taking in 4 elements. Sit back, sit down. Next, set to perfected, ear, heel, hand, turn hips and waist, brush knee. Hands go for the ride. Sit back, twist, set them up, and use your energy to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball in a T stance, Out into the side, part the wild horse's mane, stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot, firm down on a ball, out into the side, here it is. Flip that hand, cloud hands. Sit back, sit down, pivot, open step, flip, meet, close your stance. We know that we're in the 24. Flip, meet, open, middle, flip, meet, close, middle, flip, meet, open, middle, only flip, meet, middle, hook the backhand, look, out into the side, single whip. Half step forward, sit back. Pat your horse on its mane, cross, step out, left foot, palms down, up, kick out. In, drop gently on your heel, look through your double punch, and we'll end right there. So double punch now. Do you have a bow? Do you have an arrow? Are you punching the opponent's ears by his opponent by his ears? Show me a good sit back. Ears, show me a good sit back. Ears, sit back. Okay, good. So let's look at ears, sit back. Let's look at ears, sit back. Ears, sit back. Ears, sit back. Okay, so when you have him bonking on his ears, double punch, don't bring this guy back. Don't bring your hand back, but bring it back because you're shifting your weight. Because you're shifting your weight, using your core, dropping those shoulders. They do not come back. They come back only because the body is pushing it back or changing the shift, changing by shifting the weight. Okay, we'll talk more about that. But those are instances or times when we always need to be aware of shifting weight. Okay. All right. Today's lesson is on repulsing of the monkey. So let's do it all the way through repulsing of the monkey and probably single whip. And then we'll break it down, okay? So good Tai Chi posture. Yang, 24. Commencing form. 60, 70, 80. Off the ground. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Rotate. Take a deep breath in, elevate. Shoulder level reverse. Show me your palms. Flex your knees. Put your hands on your desk. Hold your ball in a T stance, bring it in, out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane, 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, L stance, move that ball, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, move that ball in an L, final parting of the wild horse's mane, get a good stretch. Flying diagonal. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin your ball to the left as you lift up the right hand. As you glance at it, lift up the front foot, put it on its toes. White crane spreads its wing, weight on the back. Drop your front foot, bring that top hand towards the middle, bisecting at your dantian. Swirling back, parallel higher, lift the front foot, brush your knee, 1. Sit back, pivot out, parallel higher, lift the front foot, brush knee, 2. Sit back, pivot out, parallel higher, multitask, ear, heel, hand, brush your knee, final. Half step forward, sit back, rock the front foot to your toe, set it on its heel as you play your lute. Today's lesson, repulsing of the monkey. Drop the front hand, center the front hand, drop the front foot, center the front hand. Lift as you bring it to the area of ear, stretch on an L stance. Meet, slide forward, slide back. Center, higher. Lift as you bring it to the ear, stretch out that knee. Heel, pivot to the middle, slide as you repulse 2. Center, higher, glance, lift, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, slide, repulse 3. Center, higher, glance, lift, ear, toe, heel, modify that step, repulse, final. Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay, so we'll break it down, and this is today's lesson. So watch first so you can match now the key words to what they really mean by my positioning, okay? Let's see. Maybe I'll go backwards so you can see what's happening in the front here. So weight on the back is setting us up for repulsing of the monkey. If we had weight here, we would have to do a quick step to then start here. But we set ourselves up at the end of a transition of playing the lute to now then center. As this hand is already centered, but we call attention to it being centered. It would not be centered here. It would not be centered here. So we have 2 hands veering to the center of our body, helping us with balance. When we then center another time, we start to open that palm, and as this hand, the right hand, starts to go back, then we're allowed to then turn and glance at the top hand. Okay? And then our palms now start to flatten as if it were catching a ball from the top of from the ceiling. So that's a lot of words. Let me try to put it all together as a demo. We're playing our lute. Drop my front hand. As my back or right hand starts to move, I start to move to glance at it. I open to both palms to the ceiling. My weight is always on the back. It never changed. Therefore, I can do this motion. This motion is vital. It's very important because when you bring this to your ear, you're allowed to lift up the insubstantial foot. So the trick or the solution to how to do this safely is to be fully grounded on this back foot. Fully grounded, so I can be a post. I can be a post. This is my L stance. This is my twist. This is my bow stance. Bow, arrow. So why am I putting so much emphasis on the L stance? We never do an L stance without stretching out the knee. We do not, or try not to, go this way. I did not stretch out my knee. When we do our Tai Chi walk, twist step, firm down, L stance. Is that knee crunched up? No, we always stretch it out to then allow us to have a better movement of the energy to get into a bow stance. We never come out this way so that the knee is not stretched out. So the logic is, why shouldn't we stretch out this L stance? We should not take it here. This knee is not stretched. To me, if you follow me and understand me, this should give you more safety. Watch again. No difference. Center, higher, glance. Lift up, ear, stretch, toe, back. Okay? So it seems intimidating, but once you practice in the practice, you'll see the logic. So make sure that the weight now, I cannot emphasize it enough. If you're playing your lute correctly, there's no weight on that front foot. Keep it there, keep it there, keep it there, no weight, and then bring it back. And then remember how well, I guess it was for level 1, but acknowledge that you know that the hands are meeting here rather than just slide this way. Acknowledge that the hands know that they are meeting and then sliding. So here, slide, here, slide, here, slide. Here needs an equidistant. So what you give to the front, you give to the back. And you pause, you set up. Weight is always on the back. For demonstrating there, I did not have it all on the back, but if I were in movement, it surely would be in the back. Okay, so let's try it and then we can still refine it. We're at playing our lute. One foot on the line, the other foot on the other line, opposite. Drag the right foot back, 45-degree it, bend, bend, bend. Okay, so you know that it's not too much. All right, now we're playing our lute. And I guess what I did is I brought my left foot in rather than out because I'm centered. Weight on the back, right? Drop the front foot, center the front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, stretch, toe, heel, zigzag it out to the middle, straighten up, repulse 1. Center, glance at the higher hand, weight on the back, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of your foot, forward and back. Center, glance higher, weight on the back, of course, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, acknowledge, pull back, slide forward. Last one, center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet, slide. Hold your ball on a T-stance, okay? And then we grasp the bird's tail, which is a given for Yang 10 form and 24 as well as 16. All right. So we're going to tag on now a modification on the last repulsing of the monkey. You know that when we repulse the monkey, unlike other movements, it's done more than 2 times. It's done 4 times, okay? Just the way it's set up to be. So this is what I try to help you with. On the last, this is a 3. On the last repulsing of the monkey, watch the foot that is in the front. It does something here. It tries to be now perpendicular to that original line of when we set up our lute. Because what we want to do is pull back, pull forward. We want to be able to then turn without moving our feet or foot to grasp the bird's tail. So once again, because that was hard to kind of see, I'll give you a back view, okay? And I'll call attention to it. One, 2, 3. Okay, so the key is now when the front foot is placed downward, it takes this position. It takes this position because we want to end up this way. Okay? That back foot, which is the front foot, always takes a 45. But the last or 4th repulsing of the monkey, it takes a 90, so that a 90 degree rather than a 45. It takes a 90 so that you can ward off. Okay, let's try it. All right. Forward, playing your lute, sitting on that stool, dropping your front foot, center of the front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher, lift up as you bring it to the ear, stretch out. Center, higher, lift, stretch out. 2, center, higher, glance, lift. 3, okay. Center, higher, lift, position the foot on its toe, swing closer to a 90 degree repulse of the monkey. So now you should have like an L stance, I would say. Actually more than an L stance because your right foot is parallel to the line of the floor or on a line or a 90 degree to allow us then to turn towards the roadside, reposition our hands to hold our ball, to ward off. Here we go. Out onto the L, push your opponent away. So do you see that that foot was set up nicely? Turn hips and waist. How do I turn my hips and waist? How do I reposition my hands? Do I just then take this swoop down because I need to get back? No. What do? You sit back, sit down. The hands go for the ride. You contact. You bring it to your center then to power out. Roll back. How do you roll back? You drop your shoulders. Do you see where my hands are? They're at least below or slightly at my hip level. Then I power up and then out. Hands definitely go for the ride, okay? So yes, that's next week's lesson, but yes, we can see what's coming up and how we're going to prepare ourselves in the formation that we take. Okay, so those of you who are rather new to the 24, take it in the bigger picture. Know that there are many refinements that we have to do, but we'll get there, okay? But know that they're out there, and I'm giving you the full-on picture of how, or instructions of how to do it. All right, this time we're gonna play our lute and we're gonna go sideways, okay? Just like how we would do yang 10, yang 24. So I'm gonna stay ahead of the class, okay? So if you folks can give me a little move back to your right, okay? 2 feet on 2 different lines. Drag the right or back foot to a 45. Play your lute. Bring it in a little bit more if it's too wide a span. Drop your front foot, center your front hand. Glance at your back hand that goes higher, open. Lift, ear, toe, heel, heel. Pivot on the ball of your foot. Slide forward, slide back. Center, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet in the center as you pivot, slide forward, slide back. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet in the center, pivot, slide. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet, slide. Center, higher, glance, up, ear, toe, heel, meet, slide. Last one. So we're going to modify the front foot. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, modify, meet, slide. Then look at your feet or feel your feet. Did you modify it enough? Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay, so that's what you should practice as a drill. It's not easy because there are many little details that you have to pay attention to. But for you right now, get the bigger picture. All right, I want to go over one thing that I didn't really emphasize. When we pivot, we usually pivot on our heel. We pivot on our heel. But in repulsing of the monkey, one heel is not being pivoted, but the ball of our foot is being pivoted. So can I see how you would pivot on a ball of your foot, whether it's your front foot or your left or your right? So you're using the ball or the front portion of your foot to twist or pivot rather than using your heel. So this occurs in at four different times. And it's the foot that eventually goes to the back. Oh, it's the front foot. So right here, when you meet both hands in the middle, you pivot on the ball of your foot. Move on the ball of your foot. And to me, that's a safety measure. If you were to then pivot on your heel, you would be giving it too much weight when you're already in a semi-forward position rather than in a back position. So you have to remember to lift slightly off the ground your heel to allow your pivot on the ball of your foot to occur. Okay, so this is our emphasis now. Make sure that that front foot is pivoted on the ball of our foot by lifting slightly off the ground the heel, but not so far off the ground where you need weight on the front wouldn't allow you to slightly pivot. So when we do our forward repulsing of the monkeys, let's emphasize that pivoted ball of our foot, okay? This time, let's just do it in a short way. Come forward a little bit, okay? All right. 4 times at least, okay? Playing our lute. Center. Glance at the higher hand, open. Lift up, ear, stretch, heel. Pivot on the ball as we meet. Slide forward, slide back. Center. Glance at the back hand that's higher, open. Lift, ear, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball as you lift the heel, meet in the center, slide. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Lift the front heel up as you pivot on the ball, meet in the center, slide. Center, higher, lift, open, lift, ear, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball, slide. Hold your ball on a T-stance, okay? So right there, I didn't call attention to the last modification of the foot. You saw that my foot and maybe your foot had to make that little turn. So it's a small difference, but if you can remember on the 4th or final repulsing of the monkey, modify that foot so that you already are in line to ward off, okay? All right, any questions? That's a lot of info, a lot of detail. Everybody understand how to do it? Can you see that if you were to time all those elements, that it can be a very safe and pretty movement? Yes? Yeah? But it does take practice. But if we practice without knowing how to synchronize and how to be safe, that would have to be undone to reteach. So we might as well get in all the details first, try to put it together and understand how it's moving in one unit. So essentially, this is what you did. You played your lute, and we remember that when you play your lute, the hands are not parallel, but the lower hand is dipped towards your elbow. Weight is always on the back, although I said weight on the back just to remind you. So we also said that when we are playing the lute, we have a pause because it's a transition movement. We think through what needs to be done. We drop our front foot. We center that front hand because our monkey is in front of us. As this back hand starts to move, we can then move with our head and our neck. It's higher, we open, we glance, we lift up, we bring it here, we stretch, down on our heel, pivot at the front, meet, slide forward, slide back. Center, glance, open, lift up as we safety it to our ear, down on our heel, pivot, slide, center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball, meet in the center, slide, center, higher, glance, open, lift up, toe, modify. Same thing, although it feels a little different because this foot now is ready to do this. Okay? Try it again, okay? 2 steps forward, playing your lute. Weight on the back, getting better. Trying to put more elements together in a synchronized way. Drop your front foot, center your front hand. Look at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet by pivoting. Slide. Center. Glance. Open. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot. Slide. Center. Glance. Open. Higher. Lift up, ear, stretch, heel, pivot, meet, slide. Last one, don't forget the modification. Center, higher, lift up, modify, meet, ball, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay? Then you look at your feet and you say, yeah, is that right foot pretty much parallel to the line or on a line? And you know, it's okay to fudge a little bit so that you didn't get it fully. All right, let's go on. You're on a T stance. We need an L stance. Out on an L, move that ball. Push your opponent away. This is no different from the 10 form as it is for the 24 and the 16. So we should get way better. Way better. This is when we push our opponent away. What do I mean by turn our hips and waist? Can you turn? What happened when you turn your hips and waist? The forward hand took that position that we need. All right, rest up. Right foot on a line. T stance, holding our ball. We need to get into an L stance. Out on an L. Push, forearm your opponent. We need to grasp the bird's tail. What do I always say? Can you do it? What did I say? You say it. Yeah, I heard 3 people, everybody. When you turn your hips and waist, what happens to your front hand? It gives you the position you need. Only when you finish your turning of your hips and waist, this back hand can then set nicely. What do I say? Reposition your hand. But when you reposition, it's dependent on where your body is. When you're in this position that you are in now, do your hands just swoop back because you need to get it back? N-O, okay? You sit down, sit back. The hands go for the ride. Contact. Push from the center where your energy is out, is centered, and then roll back. Okay, so let's practice that, okay? Let's practice that. So we know that repulsing of the monkey is not 90%, 80% accomplished, but sometimes if you dwell on it too long, nothing really is gained. But sometimes if you come away from something complex, whether it be a movement or a task, and come back with renewed and refreshed frame of mind, it sometimes does a better job for us. So we said that in order to grasp the bird's tail and first ward off, we needed to modify the last repulsing of the monkey. So when our foot is fully on a line and this way, okay? And it's the tendency, even for me, to crouch down. But we need to have a good pose there. We need good Tai Chi posture, but not this way, but rounded shoulders. Weight on the back. You're going to take an L stance. You're going to push your opponent away. We said the hands go for the ride. We said we need to turn our hips and waist. A lot of times people just go this way. A lot of times people just go this way. But to truly understand what Tai Chi is, you turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands, staggered rather than equal. To get back down there, I'm going to have to sit down, sit back, power that contact as I turn, but push out from the center. And that way you're using all your energy. When I come back, you remember I said come down to at least your hips or below. The energy is still in the back foot. It's being dispersed to come forward. You notice that it's not the hands dictating what the movement should be, but the hands are surely going for the ride. It is not leading my motion. Yeah, you see that, but it's easy said than done. So that's where practice comes in, and then seeing the whole picture and understanding what I just tried to communicate to you. All right, let's do it all from repulsing the monkey through grasping of the bird's tail. In your lute. Sets us up for repulsing of the monkey. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the middle as you repulse a monkey one. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet in the center ball of your foot. Slide forward, slide back, two. Center, higher, open, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, ball of your foot, repulse, three. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, modify that foot, repulse, final. Hold your ball on a T stance. No rushing. L stance, move the ball, push your opponent by forearming him. Turn hips and waist, reposition your hands. Sit down, sit back, look back. Turn your hips, contact, push from the center as your energy goes out. Shoulder width away, curling up, coiling up, down, beyond your hip, pushing up, then forward. When I say pushing, remember it's not just hands, it's your core. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Right hand on the bottom, holding your ball on the T. Out on an L, push your opponent. What? Turn hips and waist, reposition. Sit down, sit back, look back, turn, contact, center, push out. Shoulder width, roll back, coil all the way down below, then up, and then forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot, 12 o'clock, cup. 9 o'clock, two things happen. T stance, cup, hook, look, across your face, out L, turn the palm out, first single whip. Okay, getting it? Yeah, looks good, but good. I think that you're on a good journey. You're looking at detail. You're seeing the whole picture, and you're trying to understand how details help us with the movement of our body, but in a very safe way. And that's the name of the game, okay? It is very demanding because each time we have to be able to hold our body weight and then move. And then move, not only move, but go backwards. okay? So you can see that the more you practice Tai Chi, the more you do good warm-ups and the more you work on something, the more strength you can gain, the more endurance, so that the time factor now means a lot because we're holding it up for many, many more seconds. But here again, we counter our movements to help with safety. If we did not have hands and I just made you do this, yeah, maybe you can do it, but you'll feel that something is definitely missing because I don't have that balance that I need, such as in this one, such as what we do, okay? So all the time, within our body, within our system, within our strong and active mind, we can put difficult, seemingly difficult movements into a pretty good play or in pretty good precision, as long as we understand and teach our body how to do it, okay?
Just to add more things to sort of learn or be aware of. Today's lesson of repulsing the monkey is an example of how to use the upper and lower part of your body in a coordinated fashion and how to maintain stability when you do that. For instance, if we are in the playing the lute, drop down, and I'm stable here. This leg is here, pretty. Now I came from here to now I'm dropping, but as I drop, this hand is coming up. You know, it's making for, so I'm going to be stable again here now, just before I move. Hand comes up. If you come up just by yourself with this, you're working pretty hard, versus if you come up together, you could stay here. What happens? You're stable, okay? And then when you're stable, you have the opportunity to turn because you're straight up now. Yeah? And then you turn. As you turn, this hand comes out and this leg goes out. Again, trying to maintain some stability and rotation, like spinning on a top, or like a top, or maybe a slow-moving ballerina. Set, sit down. Go back out again, ready to go. Preserve stability, come back out, and come back down this way, okay? So think about how your hands and your feet work together with your concepts of how do I stay centered. That's where I think repulsing the monkey can be very helpful. And the intent of repulsing the monkey is to lift up, come, grab. You're going to grab your opponent, and you're coming from here, and you're going to push as you are grabbing. It's a offense, defense kind of thing. You're grabbing to get a hold of him, defensive, but then once you've got him, you can deliver a blow. So it's not just poking him, it's from here, your hand comes up to your ear, as she says, as Lucille says, and then it turns. It doesn't stay here. It comes here, turns to the forward, and you can use dropping your shoulders a bit to get the power of being able to push. But the hands end up like so. One is pulling and the other is pushing, okay? So a little bit of hand movement. One more thing about grasping the bird's tail, I keep trying to mention this, is that the ward off and the flip and pull back are two motions or two steps in the motion. If you're here and you step forward and you go too far, how far can you really push somebody when you're out here? You've lost you don't have the power of your central. So it's really a very short ward off. And then the other portion is flip hands. This flips out this way, and this starts to come forward, see? flip. And then come down. The intent is push him away or pin him. You got him, so he's relatively close to you, but if you're not close enough, you can always come up, but you don't want to be out here. Okay? You want to be here, so you have your power. And then you turn your hips, and this hand comes up, grabs the person by the wrist. This hand is flipping out this way, aims for the elbow joint, and you press down on the elbow joint and you pull at his wrist, and then you sit back. And you sit back to start the pull and the finish pull as the hands come down. Okay? So, and remember, people get confused. Parting the horse's mane, hand is this way. Ward off and grasping the bird's tail, this hand ends up this way, not this way. So one this way.
So yes, when you part the wild horse's mane, you're giving a snack. You're also going up the horse's mane. You're also going up his mane and parting it, which means separating his mane or his hair, okay? Now, another imagery that we could use, and I would really apply it to the 24 young level 2 as well as my level 3 class, is that if we could use our right hand and open it as if it were a blossom or a bud, and at the final stage, open up the leaves, open up the petal. Can we just kind of think through what I just said, and can we just stand there? I don't need to look at you. You just decide on your own what it means to open up those petals. In doing so, the snack is there in the palm of your hand to the person in front of you. In doing so, it is as if the petal blossoms are now opening. They are evolving, they're opening. The reason why I would like you to have that image is because too often I see many other variations that do not meet the standard I think I want to unify. By that I mean, and it may apply to you, so you need to evaluate your own self, is that oftentimes I see people, I don't know what the best angle is that they're keeping their hand, the snack in their hand, to themselves rather than opening up the petal. The final touch is important. The final touch is important, whether it be your left hand or your right hand. It needs to come out. It cannot just shelter here or cup here, but it has to evolve. It has to open up to get a good stretch. You are locking in some of that energy by not revealing it and coming out with a flying diagonal. So with that in mind, that seems like a softer way of presenting a snack. You wouldn't just jam the snack in front of your friend. You wouldn't expect the flower to abruptly open up like that. So the imagery there is when you part the wild horse's mane, you're going up his mane in a soft way, but getting a good stretch. So in warding off, which is different, and to help you delineate and make sure that we know the difference between the two movements, we are then bearing more into martial arts rather than opening a flower by using our forearm to push him away, not going out this way and using not the brunt of our hand, but only our arm is what Ken is saying. So if you can conjure up an image to say that we are being forceful, coming out on an L, pushing him away a short distance, because if we go any further, we're out of balance. And when we push him away, we are engaging our core. Everything that we do, walking, running, twisting, turning, we need to engage our core. We need to engage our core to be stronger. So what a better time than when we have to push our opponent away. When we push our opponent away, it's not way out to get us out of Tai Chi posture. It's just enough to be powerful enough. We then turn our hips and waist. Am I moving my hand? My hand is moving only because I'm turning my hips and waist. Turning out on an L, ward off. Turn my hips and waist. Sit down. If I did not sit down, my hands would just float. I don't know what to do. Therefore, I need to get back there with everybody else is getting back there, so I just use my hands. No, you repositioned your hands. You want to sit on that imaginary stool. Therefore, the hands will come with me. As I turn my torso, my hands go for the ride. When I turn my hips and waist, my hands go for the ride. Watch more. I sit down, sit on that imaginary stool. Where are my hands? Are my hands up here? No, I have the force and energy to sit down. Then what do? I can't stand it anymore. I'm coiled up. I need to then come up, relax, stretch out. Okay? So we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to build up. Learning can be taken in our mind mentally, but then we have to teach our body. And in teaching our body, I think that's the fun thing, because we're telling our mind, we're telling our body that, hey, my mind overcomes everything that my body needs to do. Therefore, get with the program, gradually get with the program. And that's how we then become powerful within our own system, but we gain a lot of confidence, okay? Very good. Okay, good job. See you next time.